All right, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Walking Dead video for today, leading up to the start for The Walking Dead's 10th season. In this one, we're going to give our thoughts on a brand new Whisperer that has been revealed, named Gamma, played by Thora Birch. Alright, and I'll put the link in the description so you guys can go ahead and check this one out. We got it from GamesRadar.com, where they have the article of a brand new Whisperer for the Walking Dead television series Season 10 that was not really a character in the comics, or at least not in the same way. Now, the Whisperers in the comic book series version, they don't have too many prominent Whisperers. They basically have Alpha and Beta, and then they have all of the other Whisperers who are basically just unnamed Whisperers for the most part. I can't really recall or think of any others. While Lydia, from before, and then she's transitioned into being a survivor in the comics, and in the TV series version, she's already done that as well too. But aside from those three, there really aren't any others that really kind of stand out. But for the TV series, it definitely makes sense for them to have some more kind of prominent Whisperer characters there that they can use for the storyline, for dialogue, and for all these different things that just make sense in terms of the TV series version. So it says, new The Walking Dead Season 10 images reveal terrifying look at Gamma with and without her mask. So you can see this this new. So I guess you have Alpha, Beta, Gamma. Okay. It's cool. It fits, right? It fits well. The new Walking Dead character is played by Thora Birch. So she is an actress that you will likely recall from American Beauty. She's been in a lot of different things, but American Beauty was one of her most prominent roles. Hocus Pocus, Patriot Games, Ghost World, and then she's been in lots of different stuff since then. But American Beauty was obviously a huge movie. I think everybody's seen American Beauty. That's kind of a timeless classic. What year did that hit? Is that 90s? I think so. 1999. So that was just around 2000. That was a really classic movie. Dungeons and Dragons, The Smokers, Anywhere But Here, Night Ride Home. So lots of different stuff here. But that's one I remember from Hocus Pocus too, because my sister really liked that movie. She used to watch it a lot. She had it on VHS, so that's fun. And a lot of different TV shows and stuff like that. So I don't want to make it sound like the only thing she's done is American Beauty, but. If you guys remember that film, she had a huge part in that movie. Can I say she was like the main character, sort of? Pretty much, because then you had Kevin Spacey. Well, Kevin Spacey was kind of, he was kind of the main character as well, too, maybe protagonist of the movie as well, too. But it was kind of shot from the angle of Thora Birch's character, where she meets this creepy guy, and then he's doing like he's filming like bags floating around in the wind and stuff. And then it's a great movie. If you've never seen American Beauty, you definitely got to check it out, and she's really good in that. But I had never pictured her in this kind of a role as kind of like a villain type of character. With the mask on, it looks kind of she actually, to me, makes me think a lot of Alpha. Like, she looks a lot like Alpha. When you see the picture of her here, I didn't recognize her from her makeup picture. When I saw the picture first, I was like, well, first of all, I thought, oh man, she's ugly. But with the mask on, without the mask on too. But of course, that's intentional. They want to make her look, Whisperer-esque. So there's that. But you can check out her other roles too. You can see she's not actually, really, really ugly. She just looks that way, but she's in her Whisperer gear, which makes sense because she's a villain, right? So it's what it's supposed to be. And she's got kind of the just knotted and kind of tattered hair, and just dirt everywhere and stuff. So they do their ugly makeup deal. Then it says, so just 1 week after The Walking Dead Season 10's phenomenal San Diego Comic-Con panel, in which the trailer was released, the show's network AMC has released 2 new photos of new cast member Thora Birch. So from American Beauty and all that, and okay, so it goes into here. Okay, so the actress will play Gamma, a member of the villainous Whisperers, and someone who has a frightening amount of faith in their leader, so Alpha. So she's basically, can I say, like a disciple or a strict follower of Alpha. I think that makes sense, right? She will no doubt make a good foil to Alpha's actual daughter, Lydia, who last season was taken under Daryl's wing. So she's sort of like so she's not obviously, Alpha's actual daughter, but sort of like a protege or something like this. And you can see this a lot in human beings. It's kind of fun. Like when you have one person who's, maybe older, like a manager kind of thing, and then you have some that are younger kind of work under, and then they kind of, they resemble, they kind of adapt the qualities of the other, and they kind of become like him. So I can see that almost right away when you see her face and stuff like that. It's like, it just fits perfect that she would be like this protege of Alpha kind of deal, this extreme follower of Alpha that follows her every command, that kind of thing, and takes her lead. So maybe an antagonist for Lydia, someone who Lydia can kind of go against from the Whisperer side of things. And, a lot of the Walking Dead TV series now is so distant and different from the way the comics went through for these types of storylines that, you don't have Carl, you don't have Rick. These are the main, during this story arc for the Whisperers in the comic book series version, they were the main focus characters for the good guy side for the most part. You have Lydia in between, but obviously going to be a lot different for the TV series version now that Rick has been gone for a little while, and of course Carl's been gone for even longer, and so now you don't even have Henry, so it brings in some good questions what they're going to do with the characters, but it looks good. Looks like it should be fun to see. And, of course, we've got Michonne, who's leaving this season, which is a big concentration as well. So we'll see how the whole thing turns out. But a pretty good cast, and one that at least interests me for what we're going to see from the Whisperer side of things, which is good. Because we do have to remember that even though Michonne is leaving, which is similar in a lot of ways to Andrew Lincoln and Rick leaving last year, this year is different in that the Whisperers have already been introduced. So we do have that villainous threat there as well too. It's not just a storyline like the first 5 episodes based around Rick leaving and a savior kind of sort of continuation. This one is instead a continuation of the Whisperers, who are really, really spotlighted for sure in the finale and everything with those that they killed and everything like that. So we'll see how that turns out next season and what things look like. But it's a pretty good cast, and I think it's at least interesting. We'll see if maybe she has a fight scene with Lydia or something. Could be cool. Leave your comments below. Let me know what you guys think about that one. So we'll do some different comments or questions for today's video with you guys. The first one comes from Calm is the Way, who says, the problem is the shows are now all about social engineering. The intellectual entertainment angle is gone. So about the new, we did a video giving our thoughts on the brand new kind of teaser trailer, concept art, mainly trailer for the Thirds Walking Dead series. So some of these are going to be discussing that, because that's a big one as well too, that we're finding out that they're going to do this 3rd series. It's going to premiere in spring 2020, and it's going to be pretty big. By the way, The Walking Dead Season 10 is going to premiere on October 6th, so kind of early this year. So it sounds like Fear will come back, Fear will end, and then pretty much early October, we're going to see the debut for The Walking Dead Season 10. So I am still very excited for the original Walking Dead series. I can't wait to see it. And even though we might not have a lot of those more prominent characters that we love to see, you still have Daryl, you still have Carol, you still have the Whisperers, and you still have that comic book series that they're going to base things on. So it's still going to be really good, even though we've been doing a lot of videos discussing all these other things that AMC is doing with The Walking Dead, be it Fear, this 3rd spin-off series, or the Rick movies, which eventually will hit, right? So the social engineering question from Calm is the Way. So there is a lot of stuff in entertainment that is social engineering. It's hard to say how much of it is, how much of it isn't. Do I think that The Walking Dead is a property that has been directly used for social engineering that much? Not really. I don't think so, because The Walking Dead is on, AMC, which is a different network. It's not one of the main NBC, CBC, one of these kind of stations that create the cookie cutter series. A lot of them will be focused on, FBI, CIA, international, Middle Eastern things that are happening in the real world, terrorism, for example, this kind of stuff. The Walking Dead is not really, it's a different thing. So I don't think there's that much. I think it's pretty much standalone. I think it's mostly entertainment, because you can't have everything. Even though there are some controlling things behind a lot of the stuff that we see. The music industry is terrible for that. The music industry has a lot of things that are that people don't know about, contracts and stuff like this. It's really, really dark. You can look into it if you want to. If you play some songs backwards, you can hear some really brutally scary stuff in a lot of music. So it's really messed up. So social engineering, I believe, and then this is open to interpretation, are there things that are put into media in order to influence people, sort of magic with a K, go into the subconscious and then change their behavior later on down the road for certain agendas? I think there are. I absolutely believe 100% there are. I studied the Beatles, and when I studied that, I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. If you look into it, if you have some time, you want to look into social engineering in music and social engineering in entertainment, you can. News as well, too. Even the news is not, there's things that are done in the news and things that are promoted in the news to get people to go a certain way and do a certain thing. So there is a lot of social engineering out there, I think. I don't think that The Walking Dead is a property that really gets touched by it much. I think it mostly just follows along with some of the trends and some of the things that we see. I think that mostly for The Walking Dead, there is, of course, the group New World Order and Walking Dead comic book series, which I think is just Robert Kirkman kind of being kind of silly. You even see them in, wrestling, for example, as I've pointed out over the years, right? This kind of thing. How much of it is actually, put in there on purpose? It depends on who owns it, that kind of stuff. I don't think there's that much social engineering in The Walking Dead, is basically what I'm saying. I think it's mainly a side thing, and it became very popular because of how good it was, and similarly with Game of Thrones, and I don't think there's that much in it, as much as some of the more mainstream networks and mainstream channels for the stuff that they show. But yeah, if you got some time and you want to look into some of the different stuff there in music and media and stuff like that, it's pretty interesting, man. Some of the subliminals, you can look up subliminals dating back to even the 60s and 70s of some of the things they put in to even intros for shows and things like this. It's kind of funny. If you ever seen the movie They Live, where it's like buy, consume, stuff like this, you can look into certain things and you can find some older videos where there's actually stuff like that in there. And it's very interesting anyway. But that's a totally different topic, and we could talk about that for a long time. So I'll just say I don't think The Walking Dead is touched much by the social engineering and social engineers. Hardly any magic in The Walking Dead, I think, personally. Todd2935 says, it sounds like something nobody asked for. So for the third spinoff series, yeah, man, it's very true, right? But again, it sounds to me like they're trying to build a new audience, and they're not trying to kind of use that same audience that they have for The Walking Dead. I think Fear the Walking Dead was an attempt to kind of get some more from that same audience they have for the original Walking Dead. And I think it mostly did that. A lot of times it'd be about half of where the original Walking Dead was. Certainly when it started, Fear was doing really good. It was close to the same in the premiere, like 10 million viewers. They'd be happy to get that now for the Walking Dead original series for a premiere, right? So, yeah, I mean, at the beginning it really worked out. But for the third spinoff series with the kids and all that, or the age group 15 to 25, it's tricky, right? I mean, we'll see how it's received, how many seasons it gets, whether or not it can build its own audience, and that's a tough thing, right? But from AMC's perspective, they've been trying a lot of different shows. Nosferatu is a good example. A lot of different shows they've had. The Terror, I think, is another one, right? And some of these others, and they... you have a Walking Dead license, so you might as well use it. You might as well try to get as many shows as you can when you have a chance to do it. Like, we look at Fear the Walking Dead as if it's kind of a failure in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways it is. But I'm sure from their perspective, when they look at the whole run of Fear, it was probably a really good idea to do, and it probably did very well for them compared to not having it, especially when we look at the first couple seasons. And yes, it's kind of declined since then, but... I'm sure they're probably very happy with how Fear did at first. That's for sure, at least in its first season, and then it didn't really kind of continue on after that. Kind of went down and down and down from there. So, but better than not having it at all. I'm sure they're happy that they gave it a shot and they did it. It probably worked out best for AMC, right? B. Kip says also they've never handled young characters very well in The Walking Dead. So for them to create this spin-off series, it's pretty much all around a younger demographic, all around younger survivors. That's probably fair. That's probably true to say. I can't help but right away think of the one kid, the 15-year-old kid with the black hair, who I can look up his name. Just reminding me a lot of Carl, like right away, right? Like instantly. And maybe that's my fault that I think of it too much, because we didn't really get to see Carl kind of go all the way through. But even in the comics, he kind of turned out differently from how we thought he was on a trajectory to turn out. So, always things that you don't expect, right, with a lot of stuff with The Walking Dead. And we'll see how they handle the kids in this new series and whether or not the kids are going to be able to be a draw, because ultimately you do need characters there that people want to tune in to watch. You know, you tune in the original Walking Dead series, you know, that's why, for example, Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride and Andrew Lincoln, you know, they got some pretty sweet deals from what was reported online when their contracts ended. And it doesn't make sense for AMC to pay them, you know, tens of millions of dollars or whatever to keep those star characters around. It does, you know, because you need those star characters there for people to tune in to watch, or for fear it could be Morgan or Alicia or the others, right? So it does make sense for them to do that, you know, to get people to watch, because people grow attachments to the characters over the years, like Daryl, and it makes sense for them to do that because it really helps the show to have some big stars there. And when you don't have them, it's a lot harder to do it. You can still do it, but it's very difficult. So can they create kind of some younger, kind of teenage to early adult child stars in the new series? We'll see. But again, it's going to be for that younger age. It's probably going to you know, feel that way about them. Us older people are probably not going to feel the same way. However, a show like Stranger Things has kind of you know, been able to do that with its nostalgia and the other things it's done for an older audience, for a younger a group of survivors. So we'll see how The Walking Dead can do something like that with this third series. Josh G says, literally everyone hates all the kids in the Walking Dead universe except Carl, and now they make a whole show based on them? Bro. So, yeah, that's true, man. It's a strange decision. John Carpenter says, God, that looks lame as hell. And I know it's not much to go on, but I already hate the whole cast I've seen so far, even though he's only seen a picture of them. He already doesn't like them. Also, will this be airing on the Disney Channel? So that's a good... That's good. John Carpenter says that. So I'm a fan of John Carpenter. He's good. And last one will be from JB Woolley, who says, Ugh, I don't know about this. This all seems like overkill and super tedious. This expansion is already wearing itself thin. The Walking Dead just doesn't feel special anymore. It's disheartening. So the more they add on, it's true that the less special The Walking Dead feels because they're doing more of it. But ultimately, you know, again, like we discussed for AMC, they're trying to make the most of it, and they have not done, here's one thing I'll say about AMC, they have not done a good job of building other licenses outside of The Walking Dead. So they've done a good job with The Walking Dead and using it a lot. It gets a lot of attention to the station. It gets a lot of people watching. They've had Riot with Norman Reedus. They've had, you know, Talking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. They've capitalized on it a lot. They have not done a good job, in my opinion, of building other series that people want to watch and other licenses that can be something. You know, all their other projects that they put on either after The Walking Dead or before it or whatever, they've all fizzled out. They've all ended or been canceled. And even the ones going on right now, I don't hear anybody talking about shows like The Terror or Nosferatu or anything. I don't hear anything. And a lot of us are watching The Walking Dead on AMC. We're watching the station all the time, and it's just not happening. So basically, AMC has the Walking Dead license. They have the Breaking Bad verse license, which is just only used in Better Call Saul, which is okay, I guess. You know, pretty good. But they haven't really built up anything else in all these years, and that's kind of unfortunate for them. That's basically how things have gone. Of course, Netflix doesn't make it easy, but it's unfortunate that they couldn't build up anything else like a Stranger Things or like a license like that, or something really, really well done, really special that they could build off of as well too. Since they're getting all this attention to the station from the Walking Dead fans, it's unfortunate they could not capitalize on that and, you know, transition some of them over into something that's non-zombie, non-Walking Dead. But they haven't been able to. So they keep making Walking Dead-based series because it's just it easily works for them, right? So Dead Quarters, I guess. Anyway, that'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about Gamma, the premiere date for The Walking Dead Season 10. Social engineering if you want to. And if you like the video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite, and you can subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace later, guys. See you soon.